They say some battles never end. In Gettysburg, you can still hear the soldiers marching more than 160 years later. Imagine this, a quiet, picturesque town in Pennsylvania. Now picture it in July 1863. This peaceful place, Gettysburg, suddenly becomes the epicenter of the American Civil War, transforming into the bloodiest battlefield in the nation's history. Over 3 grueling days, more than 50,000 men, sons, brothers, fathers, lost their lives. The air, thick with smoke and desperation, became a silent witness to immense suffering. It's a tragedy of unimaginable scale, and some believe that not all of those who fell ever truly left. The stories are chilling, and they come from everywhere. Tourists, historians, even the park rangers who know this land better than anyone. Imagine walking through Devil's Den as twilight descends, the ancient boulders casting long, eerie shadows. Suddenly, you hear a whisper, your name carried on the wind. You turn, but there's no one there. This isn't a rare occurrence. Countless visitors have reported this exact spine-tingling experience. They speak of disembodied voices, phantom footsteps following them on deserted paths, and the unnerving feeling of being watched by unseen eyes from the surrounding woods. Then there are the apparitions. Full-bodied figures seen by dozens of credible witnesses. Tourists trying to capture the serene beauty of the battlefield at dawn find their cameras focused on something else entirely. Through the morning fog they see them, soldiers walking in formation. Their uniforms are from another century, torn and stained. Their faces are pale, their eyes hollow, filled with a sorrow that time cannot erase. They move without a sound, no crunch of leaves under their boots, no rustle of fabric. They are simply there. A silent procession of ghosts, forever marching on the land where they drew their last breath. These sightings are so common that even the most skeptical among the park staff have their own stories. Many rangers, the very people tasked with protecting this historic site, will tell you they refuse to patrol certain areas alone after dark. It's not about fear of the living. It's about an unspoken respect for the dead. They've seen too much, heard too much. Equipment mysteriously fails. Brand new batteries in flashlights and radios drain in an instant. Cameras working perfectly just moments before will suddenly refuse to turn on, only to work again once they've left a specific area. It's as if an unseen force is manipulating the technology, trying to keep its secrets hidden, or perhaps trying to make its presence known. And then there's the audio evidence. Paranormal investigators flock to Gettysburg, armed with sophisticated equipment. Their EVP recorders, designed to capture electronic voice phenomena, often pick up sounds that defy logical explanation. In the dead of night, on fields that have been silent for over a century, they record the unmistakable crack of phantom gunfire. They capture the faint, agonizing screams of men in pain, cries that seem to echo across time itself. They've recorded what sounds like military commands being shouted into the void, and even the mournful notes of a lone bugle playing taps. It's auditory proof that for some, the battle is still raging. So what makes Gettysburg a place of such intense and persistent paranormal activity? Why here? Historians and paranormal theorists alike often point to one overwhelming factor: trauma. The sheer scale of the suffering that occurred in this one small area is almost impossible to comprehend. 50,000 souls extinguished in a whirlwind of violence and fear. Think about the last moments of these men. Many died far from home, crying out for their mothers, praying for mercy, or calling for a God who seemed to have forsaken them. This raw, powerful emotion, this collective trauma, may have become permanently imprinted on the environment itself. It's an energy so potent that it has stained the very soil, creating a permanent echo of the past. The land itself seems to hold a memory, replaying the tragedy over and over again. One of the most famous and heartwarming ghost stories from Gettysburg involves a group of lost tourists. They were visiting the battlefield and got disoriented as a thick, disorienting fog rolled in. Panicked and unable to find their way back, they began to fear they'd be stuck out there all night. Just as despair set in, two men emerged from the mist. They were dressed in weathered Union Army uniforms. They didn't say much, but with calm authority, they guided the lost tourists through the confusing terrain, leading them directly back to a main road and safety. Overjoyed, the tourists turned to thank their saviors. But they were gone, vanished without a trace. There were no footprints in the soft ground where they had just been standing, no sound of them walking away, just an empty field and an inexplicable rescue. Were these guardian angels from the past? Soldiers still looking out for those who visit their final resting place? Another compelling account comes from a man who worked on the battlefield's maintenance crew. He was working late one evening near the woods that line the fields. He was alone, with just the sound of the wind for company. Suddenly he froze. Emerging from the trees, he saw a line of Confederate soldiers, an entire column of them, marching in perfect formation, rifles resting on their shoulders. They looked solid, real. He could see the details of their worn-out uniforms, the grim determination on their faces. They marched silently across his path and headed towards the open field. And then, one by one, they simply faded away, disappearing into thin air right before his eyes. He wasn't dreaming. He was a sober, hard-working man who saw something he could not explain. He saw history come alive and then dissolve back into memory. Skeptics and scientists have their own theories for these phenomena. They talk about residual energy, or the stone tape theory. This idea suggests that intense emotional events can be recorded onto the physical environment, much like a video is recorded onto a tape. The rocks, the soil, the very buildings of Gettysburg could be acting as a giant recording device, replaying these moments of extreme trauma under certain atmospheric conditions. So, what people are seeing and hearing aren't intelligent spirits, but rather echoes of the past. A psychic playback of a tragedy burned into the earth. It's a scientific explanation for a supernatural experience, an attempt to rationalize the irrational. But for believers, for the thousands who have experienced something they cannot explain at Gettysburg, it's more than just energy. It's proof. Proof that history is not just something you read about in books. It's a living, breathing force that can reach out and touch you. It's proof that some souls are so tied to a place, to a moment, that they refuse to move on. They are still there, walking the fields, fighting their battles, and telling their stories to anyone who is willing to listen. The Battle of Gettysburg officially ended on July 3rd, 1863. The cannons fell silent, the smoke cleared, and the survivors went home. But for some, the war never truly ended. For some soldiers, the fight continues. They remain on duty, eternal sentinels on a haunted field. Their presence a powerful and chilling reminder that some battles leave scars so deep they can never fully heal. The ghosts of Gettysburg are not just scary stories told around a campfire. They are a testament to the human cost of conflict and a sign that some soldiers never stopped fighting. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of history's most haunted locations. If you've ever had an experience at Gettysburg, share it in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories of war, ghosts, and the secrets that history tried to forget. We'll see you next time.